Hello everybody, my name is About300 and this is the ultimate guide for raid dens in Pokemon Sword and Shield. In this guide we're going to be covering how raid dens work, how to find out when a shiny will appear in a raid, and how to skip to and farm that shiny Pokemon. So let's get right into it. Alright, so what you'll need for this: lots of wishing pieces, internet / Nintendo Switch Online, Pokeballs, which would be repeat balls, dust balls, love balls, or even master balls. Those are usually the ones that have the best chance of catching raid Pokemon. You're also going to need a few strong Pokemon that can take down raids, and some time and patience. So basically, as soon as you throw in a wishy piece, the den that spawns is a predetermined shiny at a certain frame. And a frame is just another word for Pokemon in the den of that day. So whenever you skip a day, you move on to the next frame, which will be a different Pokemon. It's pretty much the same as whenever you wait a day, the raid den will change it to a different Pokemon. In order to skip a den, all you have to do is go into the raid, hit invite others, wait for it to do its thing, go to the home menu, go over to your settings, scroll all the way down to system, and then date and time. You're going to want to skip forward one day, and then hit OK. Go back into the game, quit the raid, stop looking for participants, and then when we go back in, and now it's a different Pokemon. In this case it's a Grimmsnarl because I'm doing a promoted raid. And something worth noting is that the first 3 Pokemon from your save point are always going to be the exact same. So I have my save point here at a shiny Gmax Toxtricity. So if I go and hit invite others, wait for it to communicate, go in, skip a day, go back out, go back in, skip another day, go back out, and skip another day. See, here I had Toxtricity, I had Grimmsnarl, and now I have Kingler from my save point. So if we restart the entire game and go back to my save point, alright, so now we're back in the game, and my save point is a Toxtricity just like before. Invite others, we're going to skip forward a day and it's going to be a Grimmsnarl, just like it was last time. The day changed, and it's another Grimmsnarl, and then after the Grimmsnarl will be a Kingler. So we're going to go and skip another day. So now if we go back in, the third Pokemon will be a Kingler as well. However, the fourth Pokemon after the third Pokemon from your save point will always be different. So if we hit invite others, and we go in, and we change the day one more time to the fourth Pokemon from our save point. So we're gonna quit the raid, go back in. This is gonna be a Gmax Toxtricity. However, if you reset the game and skip 3 days forward again and check the fourth Pokemon, it's going to be a different Pokemon. And even if that fourth Pokemon from your save point is a random Pokemon each time, if it happens to be a shiny, then it'll always be shiny no matter what. It'll be a different Pokemon, but it'll always be shiny each time. So if you're able to save your game 4 days before the shiny frame, and then skip forward 3 days, check the Pokemon, and it's shiny, then you can host it for other people, go back to the beginning, skip forward another 3 days, it'll be a different Pokemon, but it'll still be a shiny. And that's basically what we're going to try and figure out how to do in this video, so that you can farm basically infinite shiny versions of every Pokemon in the den. Okay, so this works with every den, but if you want some of the more rare Pokemon from a Purple Beam, like Gmaxes, follow these steps. Step 1, turn your text speed to slow. So after you turn your text speed to slow, go to the den of your choice. Make sure it's empty. If it's not empty, then you could just go in and take down the Pokemon and then save your game then. But make sure your text speed is on slow. And you're going to want to throw in a wishing piece, but be very careful. As soon as you throw in a wishing piece and as soon as you say yes to do you want to save your game, the beam will appear before you save your game. And so what you need to do is, if the beam is red, you have to close out of the game before it saves and go back in. And keep on repeating this process over and over again until you find a purple beam, which has about a 10% chance, so it shouldn't take that long to find. Also, if you don't need a purple beam, but you just want to do any den, doesn't matter if it's Gmax or not, just throw in a wishy piece into whichever den you want to get a red beam and save the game. This doesn't require text speed to slow or anything like that, but Gmaxes won't appear in these dens. And if you're specifically going for a promoted raid den during certain events, such as Gmax Snorlax or Gmax Toxtricity for example, this process is a little bit different. What you're going to want to do is find 2 empty dens relatively close to each other, and then throw in a wishing piece into one of them and check the den. If it doesn't have a promoted Pokemon, go to the next den and do the exact same thing. You're going to want to keep on going back and forth throwing wishing pieces in until you find a promoted den and save. The way you know if it's a promoted den is if it has one of the promoted Pokemon in it. In my case right now, I have a Gmax Toxtricity because I'm doing a promoted den right now. So that's all you have to do. And then once you're done with that, you can save the game and move on to the next step. So after you have whichever beam you want, you can save the game and set the text speed back to fast or whatever your preference is. All you have to do is find out when the shiny will be. In order to do this, follow these steps. Make sure you've saved the game at the first frame of the den. So frame 1 of your den is just as soon as you throw in a wishing piece, the Pokemon in there will be frame 1. So make sure you save the game there. Next, you want to go into the raid, take the Pokemon down, and catch it. And if this Pokemon happened to be shiny by sheer luck, you can actually just reset the game and farm it if you like. But if it's a non-shiny and you're still looking for whatever shiny you want in your den, you want to catch the Pokemon. So once you catch the Pokemon, do not save the game because you want to be able to reset back to frame 1. Make sure you go into your boxes, put it in an empty box by itself, and press the plus button until all the IVs and stats are hidden and it just shows the Pokemon. This will make things way easier later on. And so now that you have your frame 1 Pokemon in whatever den you did, you want to use that Pokemon to check the den's seed. And basically what the seed is it'll tell you when the shiny frame will be in that den. And also what type of shiny it'll be, square or star. And so that way, as soon as you check your seed and you know how many days you need to skip to the shiny, you can just reset back to frame 1 and day skip. So in order to find your seed, there's actually a few different ways you can do this. One of the easiest ones is to try going to a website called Seed Check. That link will be in the description below. And basically what this is it utilizes 3 different bots, and they're all named Dudu, D-U-D-U, to trade with players online and check the Pokemon from the den. So all you have to do is connect to the internet on your Nintendo Switch and go to Link Trade. Put in the link code that is on the website and wait for the game to match you up with the Dudu bot. Usually it's 9162, but I'm not entirely sure if it'll change or when it'll change or whatever. But at the moment it is 9162, and so this can take anywhere from 10 minutes to 5 hours just because of all the people that use the bot at once. So there's not really a guarantee that you can actually get the bot. So after you've matched up with Dudu through a link trade, all you have to do is go back to the box where you put the Pokemon, and because you hid the stats and all that, the player's name will appear at the top right corner. So as soon as you see Dudu, then you can just hit it and then select it for the trade. Because if we had the stats up, then we couldn't see who we were trading with. After you match up with Dudu and you try to trade it the Pokemon, it'll say that Dudu disconnects from the trade, and make sure you have the website pulled up and your in-game name will pop up on that website along with the seed for your den. And all you have to do is just highlight over it, copy and paste the seed into this website, which I'll put in the description below, and go ahead and choose the den that corresponds to the one you're doing, and then hit next shiny frame, and it should tell you how many advances you need to make in order to get the shiny. And advances are basically just whenever you skip a frame. So if I go in, hit invite others, skip 1 day, that's an advance. Alternatively, if you're having trouble getting a link trade with Dudu, there is another bot called Lanturn, which is actually open source, and people have made several different Discord bots, and also bots on their Switches, to check shiny dens. And it works the exact same way as Dudu, except whenever you match up with this bot, it'll give you your own link code. So via DMs, it'll give you your own link code on Discord in your DMs, and you'll just be able to enter it in, and it's basically like a free pass to Dudu. And you can find some of these bots on some shiny den checking servers, and do some Googling to try and find some. I'll put a few in the description below, and also credit to the guy who originally developed the Lanturn Bot, because that is super helpful. There is actually a third way to find the seed for your den, but it's kind of difficult. But if you can manage to master it, it'll be way easier than Dudu or Lanturn either way. Because that way you won't have to wait for other people to check their seeds before you can check yours. So all you have to do is go to Serebii.net, go to the IV calculator, put in your Pokemon's stats and find out its IVs and all that. And then put your Pokemon's IVs into this application, and that link will also be in the description below. Once you do that, it should tell you how many frames you need to skip in order to get your shiny. However, I don't know how accurate this is considering I've never used it before myself. So if you don't want to go through all that trouble, it's easier just to do Dudu or Lanturn. Okay, so now you have your seed, and all you have to do now is the den should be empty. So you're going to want to reset your game, go back to frame 1 because you did not save at all through this entire process, and go back to frame 1. And so now you're ready to skip the amount of days you need in order to get to your shiny Pokemon. So you want to go at least 4 below the number it tells you, so that you can have the 4th one to be a shiny from your save point. But I would recommend going 5 to 10 below it as well, just so that you can have room for error. And so there's a couple ways to skip the days. You could just, do the same thing that we did before, invite others, skip a day, go back into the game. But sometimes the shiny can take like hundreds or even thousands of frames to skip. So if you don't want to go through all that trouble, there's a couple of easy steps you can follow in order to skip days way faster. So in order to do this, you want to have your Switch in handheld mode, go to the Ycom, connect to the internet, find a link battle, and so whenever it tells you you've matched up with a player, hold down the home menu button and hit airplane mode. This will disconnect you from the battle, and you'll see that it tries to load up a battle, but it fails. And so now the glitch is active and you are able to go into your home menu, go down to date and time, skip a day forward, hit OK. Skip a day forward, hit OK. And you can keep on doing this over and over again, and each one will count as a day in order to get closer and closer to your shiny frame. Something worth noting is that if you were to, get into the rhythm of skipping the day forward, hitting OK, and then skipping the day forward, hitting OK, oh no, that rolled over into 1. Even though you didn't roll the 3 into a 4, and it rolled into a 1. That doesn't have any effect on anything you're doing. You can just go back, roll it over to a 4, and that'll count as a new day. So don't worry about that. Also, if you have your Pokemon Sword or Shield game closed, you can change the time to whatever you want it to without worrying about the den. The den will not change in your Pokemon Sword and Shield game unless you hit invite others or unless you are in the airplane mode glitch. So do not worry about that. So you can do this as many times as you need to in order to get to your shiny frame, or 5 to 10 below like I said before. However, you want to make sure that you stop doing this about every 3 months or so that you skip, just because it can cause the game to crash if you skip too many days at once. So I would stop about every 3 months, go back into the game, redo the airplane mode glitch, and just keep on going. And in order to know when you need to stop in order to get the shiny, you can go to a website called timeanddate.com, or any website that really just adds days on. And from the day that you started on your Nintendo Switch, from the day that it is before you start skipping, just enter that in and add the number of advances you need in order to do that as days, and find out how many days you need to skip in order to get to your shiny. So after you've skipped the number of days, or 5 to 10 below the number of days that you need in order to get your shiny, you want to go ahead and save the game. And so from the save point, so in order to actually precisely find our shiny, you're going to want to go in, hit invite others like you would normally do, skip a day forward, and keep on doing that until you find the 4th one from your save point. And go in, do not invite others, and check to see if the Pokemon is a shiny. If this Pokemon is a shiny, congratulations, you can just revert back to your save point anytime you want, skip 3 days forward, and host the raid for people over and over again. And you want to keep that save point 4 days below the shiny. However, if that Pokemon is not a shiny, what you're going to want to do is reset the game. So you're going to want to go back to your save point where you were about 5 to 10 below the number it told you. Go in, hit invite others, skip a day forward, go back out of the raid. So you're going to only do 1 advance, and then from here you save the game. And then from that save point, you can skip 3 days forward again, check if it's shiny. If it's not, then move 1 frame. And essentially what you're doing is moving your save point up, checking the 4th one, and then if that is not a shiny, move your save point up again by 1 frame, and just keep doing that until the 4th one from your save point is a shiny. So as you can see here, this next one is going to be the 4th one from my save point, and it is a 4-star Toxtricity. Alright, so we're going to check if this is a shiny, and if it's not a shiny, we're just going to go back, move 1 frame forward, save the game, and keep on doing the 4 frame thing until your Pokemon is a shiny. And wow, look! It's a shiny GMX Toxtricity. Perfect. So now, if you're hosting this raid with your friends, you can just back out of the raid, go to the home menu, go back into the game, and your save point will be 4 Pokemon away from the shiny. And then you can just do this over and over again as many times as you want. Additionally, if you find a Pokemon like a Gmax or something rare, or just a Pokemon that you like in general, and you want to farm only that Pokemon in the den, so if I found this Toxtricity for example, and I just wanted to farm this one over and over again as a shiny, you would just have to make sure that the 4th one from your den is a Toxtricity, and then once it is, just save in front of the Toxtricity. The only thing is, after you do that, there's no other way to get the other shinies in the den. You would just be locked into the Toxtricity, so to speak. And once you're done, you can actually just catch whatever it is yourself. And that's the end of the den, basically. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It took a lot of time and effort to put together, and to make sure I covered everything and made it as easy to understand as possible. And if there's anything you didn't understand or any questions you may have, feel free to leave a comment below, or ask me on my Discord server, which, by the way, if you want to join the Discord, the link for that will be in the description below. And we do lots of Pokemon raids on there, we hang out, we do a lot of other cool stuff. So make sure you guys join the Discord, and leave a like on the video if you found it helpful or enjoyed it, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos or streams. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.